Good morning, friends. This is Mrs. Stevenson again. Today we're going to be talking about contractions for 2nd and 3rd grade language arts. Now, contractions are a way for us to take two words and squish them together into one word to save space or time, or to just make some variances in your writing. All right, so contractions. For example, if I were saying, I can not go outside because it's raining. I cannot. We're going to make that a contraction. We're going to squeeze it together. So we put the first word down, can. And then we're going to put an apostrophe, which is just a little squiggle mark in the sky. And then we're going to add that T. Can't. I can't go outside because it's raining. We took these two letters and replaced them with an apostrophe. Now what's another one? It is not sunny today. So is not. All right, so for this one, write the first word. And you're going to write that first letter because there's not an N here. We didn't write the N here because that would just look funny. And so we didn't do that. But this one we're going to write the N, replace the vowel with an apostrophe. Isn't. It isn't sunny outside today. All right, let's think of another one. I will. I will do that. Who can figure out how we are supposed to do this one? All right, so write the first word. And then an apostrophe, LL. We're only using the last two letters for this one. I'll do that. So when you're writing, you can use these to speed up your writing. You can use it to make some differences in how you're writing your words. Because it would get boring if we said the same thing all the time, every day. All right, now sometimes there are some strange, improper contractions. They're very odd. So like, will not. Now if we were to follow our rule of adding an apostrophe, it would say wilt. Have you ever seen wilt when you're reading a story or reading a writing? No way, Jose. So that one would be won't. I won't do my homework today. Won't. I'm going to write that down here so you can see it better. All right, I'm going to let you guys look at that for just a minute while I pick out our book for the day. That was our contractions, and I'd like to read a book with you guys today. Conjunction, junction, what's your function? Sorry, I tend to... I love this one. Let's go to Egypt for the day. We're sailing down the Nile. I wonder if we can find any contractions in our book. Now, I got this book when I was student teaching because we learned about Egypt in 2nd grade when I was student teaching. And I thought it was really, really cool. All right, so we're sailing down the Nile, a journey through Egypt. Look at all the beautiful illustrations. What would you have to guess if I had to say what kind of landforms are there in Egypt? Yep, I see like a water, like maybe a river or a lake. I see desert. Good landforms. I see some camels. Oh, I see some hills for landforms. Look at the pyramids. Aren't they cool? Climb aboard the riverboat. We're sailing down the Nile. Ooh, I see some contractions already. We'll visit Abu Simbel in just a little while. Hush, 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 hush. You're okay. You're okay. We see the temple just ahead. Jabari's in the lead. We stand before the statues feeling very small indeed. Up here they have pictures of the Egyptian gods that they worshipped in Egypt long ago. Climb aboard the riverboat. We're sailing down the Nile. We'll shop at Aswan's market in just a little while. I love these pictures. Look how festive and wonderful it looks. Kalila guides us to the souk. We buy some food to share. Oh, and there's an asterisk. What does that mean? Oh, a souk is an Egyptian marketplace. We buy some food to share. We'll picnic on the island with the others gathered there. So this is Kitchener's Island, is what my book is telling me. So an island is another landform. Awesome, and I saw another contraction. Climb aboard the riverboat. We're sailing down the Nile. We'll reach the Valley of the Kings in just a little while. The Valley of the Kings is where all kinds of great kings of Egypt were buried. They're still discovering tombs. It's really, really fascinating. Our pharaohs once were buried here, says Ibrahim with pride, and Tutankhamun's tomb was found with treasures packed inside. So this is where King Tut's tomb was found too. Tut, tut, tut. King Tut, tut, tut. Climb aboard the riverboat. We're sailing down the Nile. We'll be at the oasis in just a little while, and the oasis they're talking about is Al Fayoum Oasis. An oasis is like a pond or a water source in the middle of the desert, and it's surrounded by trees. So it's a spot of life in the middle of the desert. Sahara greets the farmers who are harvesting their crops. They'll take their fruit and vegetables to sell in village shops. I see another contraction. Look at that. Isn't that interesting how different many parts of Egypt look? It's all the same country, but so different. This one doesn't look like a desert at all, does it? Climb aboard the riverboat. We're sailing down the Nile. We'll see the Cairo skyline in just a little while. So Cairo, Egypt, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, forgive me, is the capital of Egypt. Look at those big buildings in the middle of the desert. Isn't that interesting? Inside the vast museum halls, we see fantastic things. Mustafa spies the mummies of the crocodiles and kings. I see some hieroglyphs down here, and hieroglyphs are Egyptian writing. That's how they wrote in ancient Egypt. And they were very fond of cats in ancient Egypt. Look, they mummified a crocodile. Climb aboard the riverboat. We're sailing down the Nile. We'll hike to Giza's pyramids in just a little while. And in front of the pyramids, I see the Sphinx standing guard there. Look at that. These 3 pyramids are lined up with 3 stars in space. I can't remember the stars' names. I will have to look that up for you. Right outside of this giant city, there are these huge, huge pyramids just looming in the background. Jamila knows these wondrous tombs built centuries ago still rise above the city with fabled Sphinx below. Look at that. That's great. Climb down from the riverboat. We've sailed along the Nile and traveled across Egypt for just a little while. The day is nearly over and the sun sets in the west. We'll dream about our journey and the places we loved best. Now, I'm an art teacher, so I noticed something very interesting. Look at this moon. Doesn't that just look so Van Gogh? That's such a Van Gogh moon. If you don't know who Van Gogh is, Google up the Starry Night and you'll see why I'm calling that a Van Gogh moon. Such his style. All right. In the back, we have a map of Egypt. And we have the pyramids and the capital. Here's the Nile. It is such a famous river. There's the oasis, the Valley of the Kings. Just pretty interesting. Egypt is really fascinating when you look into it. Here's some history of ancient Egypt. So this show is about life in ancient Egypt, and it says, at the bottom of the pyramid, of the social pyramid, were slaves who worked in the households of the rich. Above them were peasants, farmers, and laborers who did all the hard work. Next came the professional class, scribes, doctors, artisans. They were trained for their jobs. Above them were the priests, the nobles, and the government officials who carried out the king's wishes. Now, in ancient Egypt, the king was called a pharaoh, and he was at the top. His word was the law. If he said, you have to dye your hair blue and turn around in circles, that is what you had to do. All right, so this was our book. We're Sailing Down the Nile. Is such a great book. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you this afternoon for our math lesson. Bye, guys.